Okay, hi everyone, I'm live. Please ignore all the stuff behind me as I'm still in the process of unpacking everything. So in this video, it's kind of going to be like a get ready with me. I have my dog, come here Sasha. I have my dog here with me. Say hi Sasha. And so, yeah, so I'm just going to talk with you all a little bit today. And, it has been a while. It has been a while since I've done like an update video, and you all that know me, you know that I like to kind of do my makeup at the same time. I'm gonna try to list the products in the description, but I started off with the Clinique Moisture Surge. I used this, and then I used a Tarte C Wink of H2O underneath my eyes. I used the e.l.f. Sunkissed Booster Drops. I used the Clinique Moisture Surge Spray. Sasha, get out of there. Sasha, what are you doing? This is why I don't go live, because my dog and people be so distracting, and then I just feel like it kind of messes up the live. But then I'm loving the Smashbox Halo Plumping Dew with hyaluronic acid. This has actually been one of my favorite to use alone or to mix in with my foundations, especially if you like that dewy look. And then I have Janae Cosmetics Iron Protected Lip Conditioner on my lips in strawberry. Um, and so I think I'm gonna start off with the eyes. And I'm gonna kind of be quick. I was not planning on doing a live. Um, I was not planning on doing a live, so I'm gonna try to be super quick with this. Excuse me for one moment, guys. Okay. So where do I begin? So maybe I should start with, so I moved, and I have to share with you all um, I have to share with you all my apartment and everything. I really haven't had a chance so much to really do the apartment tour, and then when I did, like editing and uploading it, a lot of stuff was going on. And I will share that testimony video. Um, but I am no longer there, and that's okay. Um, there were some challenges that came about that were happening for some time. And you know, even though it's not where I'm at, it's not ideal. Having gratitude and really being grateful, and knowing that if God could do it before, He could do it again. And sometimes He will allow you to have something to allow you to build your faith, so that you can see that He is God, and that you can see that it can be done despite whatever you feel like you don't have, or whatever you feel like is lacking, that it can be done through God and God alone, and putting your faith in God. And so that's kind of what's been going on a little bit with that. And so also it allowed me to kind of learn a little bit more about the law and certain things that the property would tell me that were not true. And it allowed me to really, like, going through that test, it allowed me to press into prayer more, but it also allowed me to be an advocate, and to advocate for myself, and to advocate for other people, especially people with disabilities. Um, and there were some things that were happening there that just were not cool, and probably not so much legal either. But God is good, and so I'm learning to really just rest in God. I'm learning to just trust in God wherever He has for me. Some places are for a season. Um, and so, yeah. Let's see what's next. I'll talk about, okay, am I single? So some people ask me, am I single? Yes, I am single. I am happily single, and intentionally single. And in this stage of my life, I am coming to terms with being okay, with things not being how maybe I want them or on my timeline. I'm learning to understand kind of where God has me, and learning to understand that, there's a timing and a season for everything, right? And so right now I'm just doing a lot with school, building my businesses and my show. And there's a lot that goes into that. And then there's a lot of things also I feel like that God is still trying to get out of me, and things that, when you get married, a lot of you has to die, and a lot of your wants, and it's a lot of sacrifice, and it's a lot of compromise. And sometimes I like to do things my way, right? Or I like to do things a certain way. We'll put it like that. And sometimes I don't like to really always compromise. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I just, have a certain vision for things, or certain things that I think could be challenging if I were married, right? So those things would definitely have to come out, and those things would definitely have to die. And I think having someone that you can talk to, like my spiritual mom, we talk a lot about some of this, and sometimes we may think that we're ready for marriage, but other people see that there are things that we still have to allow God to either heal, or allow God to really be Lord in. And that's even surrendering our timelines. That's even like, even when we desire it, it says to delight yourself in the Lord, and He shall give you the desires of your heart. And so sometimes it can be really hard to surrender those things, and sometimes it can be hard when we feel like, wait, God, like I'm really trying here, and I feel like I'm being overlooked, or I'm forgotten, or I see everyone else getting what I'm praying for, getting what I've been believing and contending for. And for some of you, you've stopped believing because you don't think it's like ever gonna happen for you. And so I would just say, continue to put your trust and hope in God, because if God is not enough for you, no man will ever be enough for you. And so in this season, I am resting in God. I am dating God. I am going out, and I'm enjoying time with God. I'm enjoying just sitting at His feet. I'm enjoying really just knowing God as a father and as a friend, right? And just also recognizing like the Lord is my husband until He releases me to my earthly husband, right? And we're still the bride of Christ, right? But it's like sometimes we want whatever it is so bad that we can make an idol out of it. We can idolize marriage. We can idolize some of these things that we don't really mean to idolize, but we end up idolizing it because we want it so bad. And it's not that God doesn't have it for you. It's just you have to understand that your time and His time is not always the same, because God is outside of time, right? And Chronos is man's time, and Kairos is God's time. And so when it happens, it's going to happen in a Kairos moment. An appointed time that God has set is going to happen in a Kairos moment, because His ways and His thoughts are higher than ours. And so for me to really kind of just, talk with God, I talk with God so that I don't become frustrated, or so that I don't, even other things in my life that I'm going for, so I don't become overwhelmed, so I don't get discouraged and get weary and be like, well, what's the point? Or it's never going to happen for me, right? When we start speaking those things out of our mouth, when we start being very negative and woe is me, and our words carry weight in the spirit realm. Our words have the power of life and death. And as a man think he is, so is he. And so I would encourage you, no matter what you're going through, try not to speak it out your mouth. I've had this struggle with this for a while where I would pray one thing and then I would sabotage it with my words out of my frustration. I would pray a thing, I would say a thing, and then later on sabotage it with my unbelief or with my doubt. And I'm learning to trust God fully. I'm learning to not waver in my faith and my trust with God. And so I would just encourage you to just keep doing that, to keep seeking the Lord. And it's probably going to happen when you least expect it. So just keep seeking God with all that you have and trust in Him. You guys know, like my book, Weather the Wait, I talk about this in my book, Weather the Wait. People are asking me about, like, hey, when is Volume 3 gonna come out? And Volume 3 has been in the works for probably 2 years. It's just been so many life changes in the past. Maybe I would say like a couple of years. My finances have changed. My housing situation has changed. And just trying to really prioritize and focus on, okay, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing in this season? Because I can kind of do multiple things and then maybe not finish things that I should finish, or I've started so many projects that I can't finish them all. And so learning like the time and the season for that project. But some people have asked me. But in this season, I'm also trying to market Weather the Wait, because I feel like no one really knows about it, because I haven't really been marketing it, haven't been doing YouTube so much. I had to put a lot of the YouTube on the back burner, trying to focus on school and whatnot. But I have that and many, many more volumes to come. It's just a process, right, of just getting a lot of stuff going. And then for me, having some health challenges that has really slowed me down a lot, and a lot of the things that I really want to do, it's really slowed me down. And so I just finished last night applying for my PhD. Finally, I started like almost a year ago. And it's a good thing that I started early, because in June, I was already like 90% done with my application. I had a head injury in June, and I was at my apartment, I was in my place, and they think that my blood pressure got really low, and I ended up falling and hitting my head on the bathroom door. So I fainted, so I lost consciousnness. Woke up to the sound of me hitting my head on the bathroom door, and my first thought was like, ow. But I was first very confused because I stood up, and then everything started to spin, and then everything went pitch black. But I was like, maybe I'm dreaming, maybe I'm still in REM sleep, maybe I'm sleepwalking, because like my vision went out, but I was still conscious at that point. And I guess it was probably soon after that that I had fainted. And so thankfully I didn't like hurt myself any other way, right? I didn't fall on anything, but I did fall, hit my head on the bathroom door. After that, I was really scared to go to the bathroom, because I was like, oh gosh, am I gonna fall again? I have no memory of how I got back to my bed. No memory after that. Went back to sleep. Probably should have called 911, went to the hospital, but probably wasn't fully aware of what was going on, or fully able to get help for myself. So that was a scary time, very scary time. And then after that, it took a while for my body to really, so that was in June, it's now February, even still trying to get my body to kind of get back to sync. So after that, I really struggled with really bad headaches and migraines. I had this horrible, horrible headache that would never go away. And then I ended up sleeping too much, so I would sleep like 15 hours a day, 18 hours a day. People would be knocking still, like I was like knocked out, literally knocked out. And then it would from then for me barely sleeping because the pain kept me up every hour, so like I couldn't really fall asleep. And then I had a lot of symptoms. Almost every symptom of concussion, I pretty much had vertigo, sensitivity to light, um, pain. I mean, it was just a lot. Sasha, what are you doing? Come here, Sasha. She was always trying to get into something. Sasha. Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm gonna make sure she's not getting into something. Sasha, what are you doing? Come on. Are you eating something? Okay, sorry guys. She just wanted to jump in the bathtub. But yeah, so that was a lot. So I'm still kind of healing from that in a sense of doing some more physical therapy, like I think they call vestibular physical therapy or something to help with that. And so stopped working. A lot of stuff came to a halt, which was really, for me, depressing in a sense because I am used to, I'm type A personality. I'm used to when I start something, I finish it. I'm a go-getter. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever needs to be done, pain or not, just get through it. And working, worked 3 jobs, went to school full time. Y'all know I graduated my bachelor's. I started college when I was like 16 years old. Graduated my bachelor's early. Started my master's early. So many things happened that, it was like everything was above average when it came to my executive functioning. After that concussion, y'all, it was and it still is difficult, and that is when I lean on God for prayer. And I speak over myself. I have a sound mind. I think clearly, and I continue to speak life over myself. And so I would encourage you all to continue whatever you're going through, to continue to speak life over yourself. And that was really hard for me because with my master's, it was just delay after delay after delay. And I'm like, I did not take 6 to 8 classes to graduate early to be delayed. God, what is going on? What is going on? This is not my timeline. I was okay even with the first delay, maybe the second, not so much the third or the fourth, or maybe the fifth. I think I'm on the sixth. I can't even remember. I lost count. I said, God, you know what? I surrender my timeline to you. And I realized that there were a lot of things that God was trying to break off of me. That orphan spirit, that spirit of I have to do everything myself. I have to do it because no one else will do it, right? And that was probably why I was doing all those classes, because I wanted stability financially, in my health, everything. And God had allowed everything to crumble and everything to fall apart in every single area of my life. And I'm just like, God, what is going on? And I'm thinking of Job, right? And I'm thinking of Joseph, and I'm thinking about, okay, they had to go through these seasons and these tests and these trials. And there were times where people did not treat me very well. And that was another test, right? Like, how do you do when people mistreat you? How are you when you're doing everything that you can and it seems like it's still not working out for you, or it's one delay after another delay after another delay? Sorry, I'm not good at talking to put on my eyeliner. This is a new one from Fenty Beauty. I think I like this one. But yeah, like, it was a lot of tests in that. And God was building my character, and he was allowing me to really just go through that so I could be stronger. but also to learn how to help other people that were going through those things. And a lot of it was not fair. Some of the stuff that I went through was not fair. But I was like, you know what, God, you are sovereign. Um, and God, I know you wouldn't have allowed this to happen if it wasn't for the greater good for me. If it wasn't something that you want to work out for me, because in Romans 8:28 it says, for those that love God works all things together for those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So I said, this has to work out in my greater good, right? Then I thought, okay, God, what is it that you're trying to teach me? What is it that I have to learn that maybe I have not had the full understanding in? And maybe that is why I am going in circles. Maybe that is what, maybe my mouth is what's keeping me going in circles, because sometimes we can murmur, we can complain, or we can sabotage things with our words because we're frustrated in a season, because we feel like whatever's going on, sometimes we might not even feel like we can hear from God, right? We feel a little like kind of stuck in a sense. So cast your anxieties onto the Lord, for he cares for you. And it says, do not be anxious of anything, but with prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, make your request known to God, and the peace of God that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. And so I want you guys to remember that, and that's what I had to do in a lot of those seasons. I really had to speak the word of God. Let's try to do a wing, guys. Let's see if I can do it. As of lately, I've been having such a hard time doing my wings. I think because like my eyes been more shaky, my hands been more shaky. So it's okay. That's not really how I wanted it, but I guess I'll take it, I guess. So yeah, this is okay. I'm so used to like doing it a little different, but I don't know. So then like there was one time I went to Dr. Faith's Pioneer Conference. Y'all, I was in a wheelchair. I had these tremors thousands of times a day from my face all the way down to my legs, and it made it very difficult for me to even walk, to eat, to hold anything, to do my makeup. I was like, I'm gonna find a way to do my makeup. I was like, disabled or not, I'm gonna find a way to do my makeup. And I did, and it took me like 3 or 4 times as long, but I was honestly kind of impressed that I even could do that with like shaky hands and everything like that. So let's see. Let's see how this one turns out. Okay, that one was a little bit better. Maybe a little bit better than the other one that I wanted. But yeah, so that's what I have. It was a lot of different things, and it's still things that I'm trusting God in when it comes to my health. For those that have saw my other video where I talked about how the tumors disappeared, to not make it too redundant, this video too long, because I will have to get off pretty soon. I would say go watch that video. But yes, the doctors cannot find the cyst in my spine and the tumor that was in my neck. And in the midnight hour, I was like, God, I command that tumor to dry up and die in the name of Jesus. And none of the surgeons could find it, because that's what I was going in for. They thought that they would have to remove it. And there was no tumor there. And I went through all this type of testing and imaging, the specialized CT that you sit in for like 4 hours. It takes like 1,000 pictures. And yeah, it was just, whew. And then when I was at Dr. Faith's conference, I had my walker, and I was just like, the faith was real elevated in the room. And God was like, walk by faith, leave your walker, walk by faith. And I did. And as I was starting to step and starting to walk, I was being healed. I was, God was doing a miracle, right? And so I ended up leaving my walker at my table, and for the rest of the day, I I didn't even for the rest of the week. I haven't used my walker since, really, actually. And then where are you going? Oh, I'm here. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm in the DMV. So Dr. Faith's conference is in, normally it's in like Raleigh Durham area. But yeah, so um and then when I was there, I knew I had an MRI appointment coming up. And I was like, by faith, I just command that tumor that's been in my spine for several years, that has been causing me so much pain. I just command that thing to go in the name of Jesus, and not be on there, right? So when I got the report back, yo, I started jumping and thanking Jesus. I was so happy. They could not find the cyst in my spine, the cyst that was kind of blocking the cerebral spinal fluid, and it was just shouldn't be there really. And to remove it surgically can be sometimes worse, um, do more harm than good. And so I'm just learning to kind of trust God with a lot of this, like even dealing with post concussion syndrome or whatever. Like, it's harder for me sometimes to have, when I'm talking, to like remember everything that I'm saying, or it's like kind of messed up my speech a little bit. Um, and so sometimes I take a while, or I like go on a tangent and I'm like, okay, that is not what I started out saying. Um, and so I have kind of learned to continue to adjust some of the different things that has been going on with that. And so it's a work in progress. Not all the symptoms are fully gone, but I just thank God that it really could have been a lot worse. So I really thank God that it wasn't. And because I don't know, I mean, if I didn't hit my head on the door and I just fell, I don't know how long I would have not been conscious. So, and I live alone, right? So it's like, I just thank God, even for that, even though that has and still is very challenging for me, and very frustrating for me, because a lot of the things like reading, working on my books, YouTube, a lot of just simple things became very hard. It just became extremely difficult for me. Um, so that was like, whew, that was a test that I was like, okay, God, well, I don't understand, but help me to understand, and help me so that I can come out of this stronger, because it was very, very difficult to deal with. And one day I'll do more of a defined video on that. Oh, the conference was last November. I have a recap somewhere on my YouTube in the community under posts. I have some I think I have a recap video, or maybe I uploaded that and maybe it's under my regular videos. One or the other. I would check. You could see a little bit of the recap that my friend made, where I had my table. I got to meet Apostle Joshua Giles, author of Prophetic Forecast and Mantle, which that was really amazing to just be able to meet him. I got to meet David Burr's wife again. I've met them both a couple of times. Really amazing couple. Just truly awesome. And when I tell you God, he just be moving. He has both my books as well. And so he's also waiting on the third. He's like, Janae, when are you going to do the your third book? And I'm like, as soon as I get this master's degree. So I'm one class away, and I've been trying, and it's been a lot of limitations, a lot of this, a lot of that, and it's just been like so many delays. And I'm like, God, I am so close to the finish line. I am a finisher. I am going to finish this. I'm going to run my race. And so I'm praying that I will be finished by this May, latest this summer, so I can start my PhD. And so yeah, that will be online. So I look forward to doing that. Always wanted to be a doctor, just didn't know what doctor I would be. So I've been wanting to be specifically a psychologist since I was about 16. So for about 10 years, I've been wanting to be a psychologist. So there we go. Brows are done. What do you guys think? I normally don't move this slow during my makeup, but since I'm talking to you guys as well, I'm kind of moving a little bit slower. And I just have so much makeup. I'm like, goodness grief, I just have so much makeup. And then as you guys can tell, I am still sorting through. I am still organizing. Stuff is everywhere, which kind of drives me crazy. And some days I have the strength and the stamina, and some days I don't. And I just have to sit there and rest in God and be like, it bothers me. It drives me crazy. But I am not going to pass out trying to move all this stuff. And so first they thought my blood pressure was dropping too low, but then my blood pressure, I think probably because of increased stress, was going from like really high to really low. And at some points they were actually like nervous that I could possibly like have a heart attack. I was just like, oh my gosh. They're like, yeah, your heart rate is like 144. That's kind of scary. And normally my blood pressure is like rarely high, and then it started consistently being high. So I'm like, yeah, I think I'm also going to try to get off some of these medications, because I think some of these medications are like interacting and are literally making me worse as well. So yeah, because I don't think it's normal for people to be on that many central nervous system medications. It's just long term, like, what are the effects of that, right? And so that could be why some of the things started happening. I had to do this heart ultrasound. I really need to do that. But they did like this one heart test with this heart monitor, and they said like my heart was like beating really high, and it was like 160 at one point, and I was like, ooh, what? That is very high. I'm like, whoa. And it was scary. Like there was one time I did have to call like the paramedics, because it was really like scary. My heart was going up and down, and my oxygen was low. It was really scary. So that was kind of, so it's kind of been an up and down thing with my health. But I'm just like, okay, God, what do I need to do? Like, I'm about to do a fast. I'm like, what do I need to do? Because some things only come out through praying and fasting. So I'm like, God, what is it that I need to do? What medications do I need to go off of? Because some of the stuff, I don't know, doctors don't seem to know. And then they found out with the tumor in my neck, they said that, so they finally figured out that that was like hyperparathyroidism. And so, especially melanated people, get your vitamin D checked. A lot of people do not know that with brown and black people, our vitamin D can become very low, and it can mimic depression and other types of symptoms, especially during the winter, and especially if you're not getting a lot of sun. We typically do not get enough from the sun. And so my vitamin D was like really low. It was like a single digit. So I was like, yeah, it's probably why I was fatigued, extremely fatigued. And so I don't know all of how they correct that, but they're like, yeah, let's just start with getting your vitamin D up to a regular level. So it's been a journey. I can say that all of this has been a journey, but I am grateful. Try to be grateful, right? Because things could be worse, but also, you know, like, okay, God, this is gonna make me stronger. This is gonna make me stronger. Okay, guys, I don't have too much time. I got maybe about 7 minutes before I go and see one of my clients. But let's see here. What brush do I want to use? My makeup desk is so like everything is so scattered. Okay, I'm gonna use the Laura Mercier translucent honey. I'm gonna use that to set it. I think I was gonna use it actually a different powder. Yeah, I was, but that's okay. I put it over there. So this one can be more mattifying. I think I was trying to go more for like a dewy powder, but that's okay. I used the wrong product, but guess what? It's all good. It's okay. Um, and sometimes I go a lot slower also, like doing my makeup now versus before I had my concussion. I could do things pretty fast, pretty quick. Now things kind of take me a while to kind of get everything going, and but that's my powder. Let's see what I can do in just a few minutes. I'm gonna use this bronzer. I'm trying to think what else haven't I shared? Or do you guys have any quick questions for me, for those that are on? Do you have any like quick questions that I can answer? I love this bronzer. It's got some shimmer in it. But I also will say, make sure that you practice self-care and that you take care of yourself, because as someone that is in like a caretaking or counseling type of role, um, it can be easy to take care of everyone else and not yourself. Um, and so prioritize your self-care. Prioritize what you need. Prioritize drinking your water. Prioritize doing things that make you laugh. Prioritize getting enough sleep. And also not taking on too many things. Sometimes we can take on too many things and then we end up feeling stressed because now that yes that we gave to somebody is a no for ourselves. Sometimes for something that we may want to do, and we may feel kind of overstimulated, and that can create irritability, that can create anxiety. So I've learned, like, I don't accept everything, and I don't I'm very careful with my time, how I spend my time, and I recognize I have to have my rest days. I have to have those days where I can't sleep 12 to 15 hours if my body needs it. I'm able to rest. I'm able to be able to get whatever it is that I may need, whether it's doctor's appointments, medications, doing physical therapy. And so I think when you have that time kind of structured out, you're more likely to practice self-care versus if you're kind of like, oh, especially if you're a mom, or like taking care of family, it can be even more difficult to really like prioritize yourself in a sense of what you need. But just like they say on the airplane, you know, you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on others. And so you know, that kind of resonates with me. And a lot of times we're trying to take care of everyone else and we're neglecting ourselves. We're trying to take care of what everyone else needs, and then we're sleep deprived. We haven't eaten anything all day. We're run down. We're getting sick because we have too many demands on us than our body can really keep up. And over time, your body will rest without your permission. It will rest and it won't get back up again until it feels like it can. And so there's this quote that, like, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will have no choice but to make time for your illness. And that is so true. People don't realize that, but that is really so true. And it's happened to me before. I've lived that, where I did not fully take care of my wellness. I didn't have a choice. There are times I could not work because just of the fatigue, just of everything my body was going through. And that was difficult for me because y'all know, like, I don't like to sit still. constantly run over, like constantly doing things. So for me to not be working or having something like that, it almost drives me crazy. So whew, that was difficult, but I'm understanding that also, okay, I have to prioritize rest, and I also have to rest in the Lord and whatever it is that I'm going through and not worry. There's so many bills coming through I don't know how to pay, guys. I'm not worried about it because it will stress me out. It will cause me anxiety. And right now in the season, I'm like, okay, recognizing some former patterns that maybe probably were not very good. But hey, everything is a learning lesson. For me, I try not to have regrets. Everything is a learning lesson, right? And for me, okay, how can I strategize? How can I be able to get myself out of this hole, right? And then also during that time where I wasn't working, I found that that was when God was really pushing me to do my business. And I started doing my book signings, and that's how I got extra income. And I started doing other events. Like I have there's a DMV Singles Gala event that I am a part of next week. So like it's so many different things. I was at a conference last weekend, my birthday weekend. I was speaking at a conference. So like God is moving, and so even if you feel like, well, I just have this little bit of oil, I remember God told me, it was like last summer, He's like, you have so many things here that you could sell. You have so many things just sitting. And I remember I started putting together, as God was telling me, I put together, and I just started selling out, selling out. And it's like the lady in the Bible that had a little bit of oil, and then she started selling it, and then she had more than enough. She was able to pay her debt. She was able to have overflow. And so I just want to encourage you all. Let's see, what lip gloss should I do? I just want to encourage you all to continue to, I guess we can go with this one. Continue to allow yourself to go through the season, understand what's going on, even if everything's not going to how you planned. Learn to pivot, right? Learn to pivot. Learn to understand how can I use whatever this thing is that wasn't really good, how can I use it for my good? And it taught me a lot. This one has more of like a mauve. Yeah, this one has more of like a mauve tone. This is Fenty Cream in, what is this in? Mauve Wives, something like that. But yeah, so it kind of matches the look with my eyes. But yeah, I think I covered everything with my makeup. But yeah, stay encouraged and just know that God loves you. Just know that sometimes we go through things and sometimes we feel like we're going backward, but it's like a boomerang or like a rubber band, or it's like we're being stretched back just to go so much more further. So if you're in a season where you're like, well, I got to this place, or I had, this apartment or this housing, or I had this job, and I feel like everything's just, God had to allow everything to crumble to remind me to not put my faith into people, to systems, right? He had to remind me that He is God. He is God alone, like the song. You are God alone. You stand on your throne before time begins. You are God alone, and you stand on your throne. And so don't allow your faith to waver based off of what you're seeing. You could be in see nothing seasons. Don't allow your faith to waver. And a lot of the things that we put our faith in, our trust in, sometimes can become idols, right? But sometimes God will remove those things to let us know, to trust in Him, that He is our Father, that He is the source. We don't pray for resources, we just pray to the source. And really just coming to Him believing that we've already received it, believing that He is a good, good Father. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm in love by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good Father. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. He is perfect in all of his ways. So do not lean on your own understanding. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. Acknowledge God in all your ways, and he shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3:5. So stay encouraged and know that God is a restorer. And if he could do it before, he could do it again. But learn the lesson that he's trying to teach you in the season so that you don't have to keep going around and around taking the test all over again, right? Like, I don't mind taking tests. I just don't want to keep taking the same test over and over, right? So it's like, God, help us with our patterns. Help us with our cycles, right? Help us with things, our mindsets, when it comes to money, right? As a tool, when it comes to our belief and our trust, unwavering in who you are, when it comes to when everything that can be shaken is shaken. Is my faith still there? Is still there? Is my hope still there? Or am I left frustrated? Am I left speaking things that are not so holy? Am I, bitter or resentful or unable to maybe give other people an applause or celebrate them because I'm so focused on what I'm not receiving, right? So learn whatever it is that God is teaching you. Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God that in due season he will exalt you. And so I'm excited. I don't know about y'all. I am so excited for 2024. I do believe that this is a quantum leap year. And so I'm really excited for what God has in store for me, what God has in store for you that no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and it hasn't been in the heart of man what God is getting ready to do. So I'm just thankful for all of you, and yeah, I'm just here and really weathering the weight, not just in my singleness and believing God for marriage, but in other things as well. So I love you all, and okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, that's another thing I would like to talk to you more about is nutrition. How I'm changing some things with my nutrition because I can't just keep doing these pharmaceuticals. Mm-mm. So we will talk later. Thank you all, and bye for now. By the grace of God, I love you all.